brilliant comment which he has made. The question of 309 and 300. They slept for 300 years in the cave. It's also there in Christian scriptures. They slept for 300 years in the cave. وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعَةً, and some people add 9. This is to indicate that there is a solar year and there is a lunar year. And some people use the solar year for calculating time, and others use the lunar year for calculating time. There is no need for a boxing match. Put away your boxing gloves, fighting over which is the correct one, the solar year or the lunar year, because both have been created by Allah. This is why وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعَةً. However, the other part of the subject is brilliant. They were using silver coins. We call them dirham, in Arabic darahim, dirham. And 300 years had passed, and in 300 years, which is 300 solar years, okay, there was no inflation. No inflation. So the money could still buy the food. Dajjal came and took this money out of the market in the end time, Awwal Zaman. And Dajjal replaced it with another money. And when you paid your salary in that other money, it behaves in a very funny way. When you got your salary, you could buy, with 1 month's salary, you could buy a camel. But then after a couple of years, the same salary can't buy a camel anymore. It could only buy a donkey. And then after some years, the same salary can't buy a donkey anymore. It can only buy a goat. And then if you know about Indonesia and Bangladesh, you know, after some years you can't buy a goat anymore, you can only buy a chicken. The money is either leaking, the money is losing value. And as the money loses value, the value of your wage becomes less and less. The value of your property becomes less and less. Somebody is ripping you off. And 3 times in the Qur'an, 3 times in the Qur'an, Allah has prohibited this. He says, وَلَا تَبْخَسُ النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. Bakhs, do not decrease. Do not cause the value of people's property and wage to be constantly becoming less and less. 3 times in the Qur'an. وَلَا تَبْخَسُ النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُمْ. The reason why it becomes less and less is because you are being attacked with inflation. As the value of the money falls, the prices rise. Okay? Prices rise. And you are being ripped off. As prices rise, people's lives become more difficult. And as people have more difficult, Egypt just got a blow, a massive blow on the head. Egypt just got it. Egyptian pound fell by 50%. Yeah, just 1 week ago. What happens is that after a certain time, people are alienated. and they turn against the government. So if you want to rule the world and make sure that every government put their toe on the line and don't move off that line, you need a sword called inflation. And when they know that if they vote the wrong way in the United Nations, your money is going to start losing value, they know we must vote the correct way. Hugo Chavez in Venezuela said, no, I'm not going to be a slave. So Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, with much less courage and integrity, dismissed them, resisted them. See what happened to the Venezuelan Bolivar? The Venezuelan Bolivar today is worth nothing. Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe, for 20 years he remained their little blue-eyed boy until the people became restless. They don't have the land, the white man has the land. And when he realized that there is a threat to his rule now, he then decided to abandon this slavish mentality, and he seized the land from the whites and he gave it to the black. Then guess what happened to the Zimbabwe dollar? Huh? You know what happened? Yeah. I landed in Harare. I wanted to make a telephone call to tell my people I've arrived. So I have to change some South African rands to Zimbabwe dollars. And I asked her, how much does it cost to make a local telephone call? And they told me $2 million. Yeah, 2 million Zimbabwe dollars for one telephone call. So if you don't want your country to be like Zimbabwe and to be like Venezuela, you got to behave yourself. You got to submit to us, the rulers of the world. You got to put your toe on the line and do what we tell you to do. That's why inflation is the most dangerous weapon that Dajjal has ever created for ruling the world. And this comment of Dr. Jamal is very pertinent because I didn't think of it before. That the reference in Surah Al-Kahf, that when the young men woke up from sleep after 300 solar years, they were hungry. You would also be hungry after 300 years. And they sent someone to buy some food. And the money that they gave that person, that still has its value intact, because they can still buy the food. And so the silver money they were, has retained its value after 300 years. And I never thought about it until my brother Jamal just told me about it. Thank you, Jamal. The second question pertaining to the Noor of Muhammad, Allah's blessings be upon him, the light of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, being created at the beginning of history. There are several ahadith on the subject. For example, Awwal shay'in ma khalaqa Allahu nuri. I give you one example. The first thing that Allah created was my nur, my light. The problem is that our methodology for study is that we go first to the Qur'an, not to the Hadith. First to the Qur'an. And then we get all the data in the Qur'an pertaining to that subject of creation. And only after we have done that and we have organized it as a harmonious whole and located that which connects all the data together, only then do we go to that which is outside of the Qur'an, the hadith. And then when we find a hadith which is in harmony with the Qur'an, we accept it. When we find a hadith which is in conflict with the Qur'an, we put it aside. Because the Qur'an alone has absolute authority. And when we find a hadith which is neither in conflict nor in harmony, we accept it, but it has a lower status. This is our methodology. This particular subject about the creation of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, that he was created even before Adam alayhi salam, that his nur was created the first thing and so on, it does not have support in the Qur'an. When did Satan, or Iblis, when did he approach Adam to seduce him? The answer is that after he had seduced him, and Adam alayhi salam approached the tree, then Allah expelled them from paradise. اهبطوا منها جميعا. Okay? وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُسْتَقَرٌّ وَمَتَاعٌ إِلَىٰ حِينٍ. So they were in paradise when they were approached by Iblis. Iblis has not as yet been expelled. Okay, I understand the question. If the macro Khilafah state cannot be established now, not even Russia can do it, even though Russia is returning to Orthodox Christianity, then what do we do? And my response was micro, until you could make macro. The micro, I said, would be a village. And the village is not only Muslims. No. Christians in the village, Jews in the village. Whoever wants to live with us is free to live with us on the condition that you respect the norms of public conduct in the village. You want to drink your alcohol? By all means, you can drink your alcohol. Do it at home. Do it at home. We're not going to prohibit you from drinking your wine. I mean, we're going to be drinking wine if we go to heaven, don't we? Huh? Huh? Yes. Rivers of wine. Rivers of wine in heaven. So, we say to you, drink your wine, but inside your home. Because we don't want any public consumption of wine in this village, okay? And this way we live together as a family, while in the village, attempting as best as we can to follow the way of life which is based on the truth, and that truth did not come in the Qur'an for the first time. Oh no. The truth has been coming so many years before, it has come for the last time in the Qur'an. But in the Qur'an, the truth which has come in the Qur'an attempts to correct any distortion of the truth which came before. Like, for example, lending money on interest. If you find in any of the previous scriptures anything which supports money being lent on interest, you know that didn't come from the Lord God. Somebody wrote it there. So the Qur'an has come to correct what is there in previous scriptures which has been distorted. Okay? One of the subjects which we are going to, my brother Misha, to speak on tonight, is the one about the forbidden tree. Because you have one version of the forbidden tree in the previous scriptures, and you have another version of the forbidden tree in the Qur'an. And I don't want to speak for the previous scriptures. No, let someone else speak for them. what our eschatology has done tonight in turning to the beginning of history is to give us an explanation of the historical process, which is more valid and makes more sense than any other. It is with the rational faculty that we will examine and validate or invalidate any claim to truth. It is with the rational faculty we will do it. And so we invite mankind to take a look. This is our reading and our explanation of the historical process. This is how the beginning of history is impacting on the end of history. However, when we offer the explanation, we do not do so with the point of assault. We say, if you are impressed with it, you are convinced with it, you are convinced that it is truth, then accept it. But unless you are convinced that it is the truth, we say don't accept it. No. This is not any dogma being propagated here at all.
The first thing is as long as we know that if the hadith conforms to the Qur'an, then we take it and we can study it. If it doesn't conform to the Qur'an, we have to leave it aside for other research. If it neither conforms nor opposes the Qur'an, then we can use it in some other way. But we have to expand the science, this matter of looking into other factors of how to determine how to authenticate hadith.
The only thing I will add is what Allah Himself says in the Qur'an, فَاسْأَلْ أَهْلُ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't know, then go to those who have the knowledge of the Qur'an.
Because of my bad English, I will probably make mistakes.
Never mind.
Okay, the problem of knowledge is central in Orthodox Christianity. The tree in the paradise was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The problem of knowledge is central because the first statement we can say about God is that nobody knows God. And the school who teaches that nobody knows God have a name, it's called apophatic school. So when we refer to God, we first think and remember that we don't know anything about Him. And we'll finish the same way. We have very different teachings in Islam and Christianity. And this is the beauty to confront and discuss about it. The methodology you're teaching to your students, I can tell you, as a Christian, it is fantastic. It has a name in Christianity. It has a Greek name, which is Katholikon, Catholic. That means that when you interpret a verse, you interpret it by the whole. Katholikon, by the whole. That means that there's not one single word which is the truth, but you have to read it with the Spirit. And in this perspective, we are maybe very close Orthodox Christian, and the teaching of the Sheikh Imran is the same. So, I want to add something about the Dajjal. It's linked to the theme, to the subject. When God created the world, He used angels. And we believe that Satan, the devil, is an angel. But whatever he is, or whatever he was, he had the idea, he wanted to help God to create the world with knowledge, with wiseness, with whatever he knew at that time. So he decided to help God to create the perfect world. And then God came and said, and now bow before Adam, my last creation. How is it possible? An angel with a wiseness, intelligence, force, power will bow before a man made of dust? No. Nobody who is intelligent can accept that. That's what have done the devil. He decided not to listen to God and to offer to the world his idea of perfection. Yes, we can make the world perfect without God. That's the plan of the devil. That's the plan of the devil. That's the root of every utopia. That's the root of socialism, is the root of communism, is the root of encyclopedism, enlightenment, whatever you want. But we, like a Christian and like a faithful people, we don't believe in human wiseness. So when Adam and Eve ate the fruit of knowledge, they only discovered how poor they are, how weak they are, how false they are, and they were banished from paradise. And thus they could not access to the tree of life, which is in paradise. The reason of that, then the mortality starts. The reason of that is that God doesn't want the man to be unhappy and wrong forever. So death is a gift of God. Yes.
Death is a gift of God.
Absolutely. And you say that. And it's the teaching also of the Orthodox Church. And we have the gift of death, and we have, of course, the gift of life, which is the river of wine, which is waiting us in paradise. So, in the Quran, when Sheikh first time read me some verse of the Quran, I noticed that it's very close to the Christian teaching. And that the Christ described in the Quran, it's not at all as the heretical Christ we Christians are teaching that you are teaching. The Christ in the Quran is the Orthodox Christ. Oh, this is very shocking. I hope for you and hope for the Christian too. Yes. Yes. And I believe that there is many differences between us, but there is one more similarity I wanted to point. Do you remember the three rivers of paradise? You have one river of water, a river of milk, and a river of wine. Oh, this is a very Christian teaching too. The Christ said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And I believe he refers to these three rivers. And in Christianhood, we have a spiritual path which is made of 3 steps. And this is the 3 steps: the cleaning, the teaching, and unity. Time for unity is maybe to come. between people of goodwill. I recognize all your differences. We are very different in many ways. I want to give a testimony to finish. I'm Serbian. Before the war in Yugoslavia, I was walking in Belgrade and I could feel the smell of war. You can feel it, really. Before the war, you know that the war will happen. And these days are very precious because it's the time to go toward your friends, your different friend, your Muslim friend, your Catholic friend, and to speak with them. It's now time to speak with them because when the war starts, it's too late. So please, have a jest, have a
You're talking about
thought.
the Great War.
About the Great War and about any war. It's before the war that we have to do something with our friend. So I believe that your teaching looks like what we call Catholic in the Greek sense, not in the Roman Catholic sense. And the Catholic, that means that if I recognize the truth in your speech, I'm so happy about that. And I hope we can all be happy if we learn to listen to each other. Because in our teachings, and few Christians are aware of that, what is the first commandment of all? Every Christian knows the answer. You will say, love God and love the prochain. The next one. But the word of the Christ are introduced by this way. He said, listen, Israel. So listen, people. There's no love without listening, your brother. If you learn to listen, your brother, then you can say that you loved him. If you never listen to him, don't claim that you love him. Because love without listening, it's a fraudulent love. So learn to listen. I listen Sheikh, I'm happy of his teaching. I regret that such a man didn't came 20 years before to work on peace. But it's not too late. I'm happy that you listened to me. I'm happy of every word you said. And I want to say thank you.
May I ask him 2 questions?
Yeah,
We're not finished with you. The first question, Misha, can you comment on the figure of Khidr, or I spoke as Mr. Green, in Islam?
Yes, I'm sorry because I maybe don't remember everything. I'll do my best. Maybe you can help me.
You told me when I described Mr. Green, Khidr, the most learned of all men. Moses said, I am the most learned. The Lord God said, no, you are not. There's one more learned than you. And you'll find him at the place where the 2 oceans meet.
I will comment to this
Yeah.
point. First, we Christians believe that when God spoke to the humankind, it is God himself, of course, but it is the word of God. So I believe that this Mr. Green, as you said, Khidr looks like Christ to me.
That's what
But I may be wrong. He lives at the border of 2 waters. But we know that when God created the world, he first created 2 waters, the waters of down and the waters of up. That means for me, and that's the way I do interpret it, is the human nature of the world and the divine nature of the world. Because the word of God is divine, but it's also human. It says in human languages. So that's why the Khidr is put between 2 waters. Can we go further?
You never told me this before, first time I'm hearing. The second one is, we were introduced in today's seminar to the concept of a Khilafah state, meaning a state in which governance is based on truth. rule is based on truth, law is based on truth. We in the world of Islam long to restore that Khilafah state. What is the state of the Orthodox Christian world?
First, I would like to say it's very good to try to restore this. But the Christians, we know that we will fail. Our kingdom is not on this earth. We will fail. But we can find a way to save ourselves. And the point, it's fantastic because Sheikh Imran is the first one I've heard about that. He said, when you have a debt, you're on a wrong way. You shouldn't have any debt. You shouldn't accept to take a debt on you. We Christian, we believe that nobody can escape the debt. But we say, if somebody owns you, you forgive him. You erase the debt. And not only we say that, but we say that every day, 10 times a day. It is in our prayer, which is called Our Father. And when the prayer in the Orthodox Church, it's not falsified, like in the Catholic world. We don't say, forgive us our offense. Yeah, we don't say that. We say, forgive us our debt, as we erase the debt of our. We say that every day, 10 times a day. So one way to escape the debt, of course, I have a debt with my parents because I'm living. I have a debt with Sheikh because I'm learning from him. We all have debt. But if somebody owns you, please forgive him. Let him, make him a gift. And that's what I believe Putin does when he erased the debt of Cuba. He erased the debt of Cuba, and I want, if any state in Europe pretend to be Christian, to erase the debt of the third world country. Otherwise, you are not Christian.
Sheikh, we only have another 10 minutes in the room, so
yeah.
If we can.
Okay, I know you got lots of questions on the US elections. Yeah. So before we only have another 10 minutes. So let me just briefly comment on it. Briefly. I think there will be few who would differ that if the US elections had gone the other way, we would have been facing war with Russia, certain war with Russia. And war with Russia will obviously be nuclear war. Those who control the media, radio, television, newspapers, the polls, they all waged a furious campaign in support of the other side, wanting, therefore, a result from the US election which would have led to war with Russia. The first comment I have to make is that we could no longer say that all the American people are like sheep. Because despite the most massive effort at brainwashing that we have ever witnessed in an election, a majority of the American people emerged out of it with sanity intact. Sanity meaning we don't want a nuclear war. And that is a hopeful sign that if the American people can resist brainwashing from the media and from government and so on. The same thing can happen in France tomorrow. I hope it does. The same thing can happen in Germany tomorrow. I hope it does. And those who are lusting for war with Russia would suddenly find that despite all the efforts that they make, the majority of the people reject them. Surely this is a hopeful sign that the cause for the human brain and the human mind is not lost, that people can still think. If this is possible for nuclear war, that they can recognize what is being done, this is also possible for the truth which is in Islam and the truth which is in Orthodox Christianity. That people who previously have been brainwashed that Islam is only terrorism, and Orthodox Christianity, they've been waging war on Orthodox Christianity for the longest while. These people can now wake up and realize, no, this is demonization. Let me take another look at Islam. Let me take another look at Orthodox Christianity. Let me take another look at what is true Judaism. Okay? My second comment is that we should be thankful to the Lord God who has saved us and given us a breathing spell, because I know they're going to come with their war agenda. It's only a matter of time. So we should thank Allah that we have a little time. I call it a window of sunlight in a world which has been growing darker and darker all the time. I don't know how long this window of sunlight will last. This is not to say that I am praising Trump as a great man and this and that. No. But the man said, I see no reason why we cannot have good relations with Russia. It makes sense to me. Yes. He said, I think we should have an audit of the Federal Reserve. Oh yes, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yes. He said that we should put a bar on immigration. Nobody wants that your country should be overrun with people from outside who have a different way of life from yours. This is your country. And so the reaction to this massive immigration is totally understandable. I would do the same thing. If people come to me as refugees, yes, we open the door for refugees. And we keep them, we help them as much as we can. But not this massive state. The rest of the world is coming to Europe. Why? Because they're destitute. And you are the ones who made them destitute. So now you're coming and you're saying, well, the only thing we can do to stop the whole of Africa from coming to Europe is a Marshall Plan for Africa. What rubbish. A Marshall Plan for Africa, what rubbish. You have to recognize that you are the ones who ripped them off. Stop the rip-off. Bring back money with integrity. Stop the banking system from ripping off the people, okay? Bring back trade which is mutually beneficial. Not trade which is like a vacuum that you use for cleaning the carpet, sucking the wealth of all of mankind unjustly. That's what they've done, okay? So at least Trump is saying, let us stop this immigration, which is inundating the United States and inundating Europe as well. I agree with that. There are millions of Syrian refugees. Why can't they go back home? I'm sure they'd love to go back home and live in Syria rather than live in Belgium. For them to go back home, we've got to stop the war. Who started the war? Come on, stop lying. Stop your monstrous lies. Who started the war? Who's been fueling the war all the time? And thank God for Trump, for Putin. Had it not been for Russia, Syria would have been another Libya by now. And those of you who are happy about what has happened to Libya, I don't want to see your ugly faces. No. Libya is another NATO state now. And you're thankful for that. With your bogus jihad, with money coming from Santa Claus, and weapons coming from Santa Claus, it's time for somebody to raise their voice and speak the truth. And if I am honored to do that, alhamdulillah. So these are my initial comments on Trump. I hope they have an audit of the Federal Reserve. But if they do, I know they'll kill him. They'll kill him. Yeah. I hope that he will meet with Putin and they'll be able to build a bond between them. I hope that the relations between the United States and Russia will become better. And I hope that the same phenomenon will come to France and Germany and we get the warmongers out of government.
Thank you, Maulana, and thank you everyone for your attendance. Our time is unfortunately up. If you do have any further questions, I'm sure everyone knows Sheikh's email address. Please do email it to him. We'll also add you, if you register, to the students' mailing list. There are already several hundred students who have attended previous programs on there. And you can then pose your questions there and also interact with some of the other students. So if you could ask Maulana just to make a closing dua.
Would you allow me to ask Jamal make it small dua?
Inshallah, ya Sheikh.
ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. We thank Thee, O Allah, for this seminar which has been blessed to be a successful seminar, a peaceful seminar. We thank Thee, O Allah, for the chance to be able to meet as brothers and as sisters in an atmosphere of peace and of love. We pray to Thee, O Allah, that as a result of this seminar, our knowledge of the truth may be increased and that we be more rightly guided. We beg of Thee, O Allah, to protect all those who have been here attending this seminar from all harm. Take them back safely to their homes, far and wide as they may be, and keep them safe from harm. We thank Thee, O Allah, for the companionship and friendship of our brother Misha, and pray that the alliance between Muslims and Orthodox Christians will be enhanced day by day. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Thank you, Misha, for coming. Thank you very much.